It is the 9th of the 4th, 2013. This is your radioactive reality. Going down the headlines on ENA News. Tremendous worry. Emergency operation halted at Fukushima plant. Contaminated water leaking from tank put into another leaking tank. Now they keep saying tank here when they're actually large reservoir ponds, liner-lined ditches that they dug out early on and put a liner in there, and these liners are now leaking. Former top U.S. nuclear official, U.S. nuclear plants should be phased out. Quote, can't guarantee against accidents causing widespread land contamination. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Asahi, all radioactive water storage tanks at Fukushima Daiichi leaking? Question mark. We are giving priority to the number 2 tank, whose conditions are worse. And again, these aren't really the tanks that you see, the tanks all over the place. Apparently they're leaking as well, but these are these big reservoirs, these pond reservoirs that they've set up. NOAA, Fukushima contamination possibly affecting sea lion pups. Quote, radiation is being looked at, just like everything else, unquote. They'll never learn. Report, media lockdown over Arkansas oil pipeline rupture. Residents say they are sickened from the spill. Quote, paper towels to clean up, question mark. And again, this just goes to show you who's really in charge in this country. Exxon has a big oil spill. They proclaim it a sand, because it's sand, it's not really oil. And now the media blackout with the no flyovers, chasing reporters out of there. New leak at Fukushima Daiichi, TEPCO accused of cover-up. No kidding. Big surprise there, huh? And again with the radiation epidemic killing South California sea lions, question mark. And more about the ruptured tanks. Radioactive leak is up to 120 tons from Fukushima. Not even close. San Diego, ABC ran a story finally. Alarming report of Fukushima fallout harming U.S. infants. And they're saying the iodine exposure is up through the roof, the thyroid problems. TEPCO has emergency press conference about newly highly radioactive leak at Fukushima. Daiichi, of course, coming up with new lies to tell everyone. Explosion in protected area at U.S. nuclear plant after recent fatal accident. You got to remember this big 500-ton thing fell down and crushed a bunch of equipment, and there's all hell going loose there. Rat chase bedevils Fukushima nuclear plant, and of course this is where power lost to spent fuel pool for hours, and they were putting up gates and stuff to keep the rats out of the power little trailer truck they've got outside. This just goes to prove they do not have a secondary backup power system to these tanks, to these spent fuel tanks. And it's been 2 years now, and they're running on still this emergency trailer outfit hooked up just outside the building. It's insane what they're doing, insane. New official flyover shows intense oil sheen around giant Louisiana sinkhole. Bayou Corn, of course, that whole salt dome's coming down, and it's the deepest one they've ever had in history collapse, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. We need to know what's in the other tanks around this sinkhole. Release of 100 pounds of hydrogen sulfide caused mystery odor in New Orleans, question mark. Report actual amount is far more, and I can believe that. And yeah, the radioactive man story. Over to Daily News, Fukushima Diary. TEPCO concealing all the radiation data about water reservoir leakage. And again, these are reservoirs, they're not tanks. 260 tons of contaminated water leaked from reservoir number 1, and they're putting it in number 2, which is leaking worse. Americinium-241 measured in the atmosphere in Hitachi City, 100 kilometers from Fukushima nuclear power plant. Americinium still going off? And where was the other one? Takizawa, I don't want to slur the name, woodland path in Mount Fuji having serious ground fissures. Abnormalities are observed around Mount Fuji since 3/11. The water level of the lake is rapidly decreasing beside Mount Fuji. There is no normal outlet. Potential eruption of Haikun could trigger the eruption of Mount Fuji. The path was found having the serious ground fissures at its 1980 meter altitude level. And of course he's got a bunch of different stories up again. Finally tonight we're going to go in Informalog. Germany to make nuclear power operators pay for nuclear waste repository, as they should. But of course they're just going to pass that along to the customers. $2.6 billion costs. The EDF plagued by financial problems which could derail Hinkley plans. Now this is out of France. A former energy advisor to French government was being interviewed by the BBC this week when he questioned the French utility EDF's ability to build a nuclear reactor plants in Britain. So new nuclear reactors in Britain are at problems going to build those financially. TEPCO admits contaminated water leaking from multiple temporary storage pits, not tanks, at the Fukushima Daiichi power plant. And Japan's nuclear plants to be forced to assess the risks from volcanoes, like they don't already. Japan is one of the most densely populated nations in the world. Lies in zones of extreme crustal instability, named the Rings of Fire, where 90% of the world's earthquake and large volcanoes live. The story goes on. That's about all I'm going to cover for you tonight. If I missed anything, please let me know. Attach your comments or videos below. Thank you very much for everybody who's contributed to my Appalachian Trail trip. I know I did a video explaining what happened. I think I'm going to do a gear video, and I'm going to say thanks to the people who have given to the PayPal donation on my channel, of course. I will attach one down below if you want to help me out. Give me a cup of coffee or a cheeseburger, that kind of thing. But I'll tell you the whole story in the next video if you're interested. Until then, enjoy while you can, everybody. I am.